Hey everybody, thanks for checking out today's video. So in this one we are going to talk about Beta War Part 2. So this is going to be a little bit about defense, a little bit about offense. We're going to talk about machines and traps for those who don't know what they do. And then we're going to talk about the guild bank and how you can go through purchasing those, or how the leader would end up purchasing those. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to go over is the guild shop and how that works as far as donating your guild coins. So right now, if you go to the town, like the main screen, we're going to go to Guild Wars, open beta right now. Again, all of the stuff that we're going to talk about is beta testing. It's an open beta right now, so any guild that has a minimum of 15 members can join. So we're going to go to Guild Shop, which you see down at the very bottom. There's Guild Shop. And right now it's going to show what our bank's balance is. This is the guild bank and what we have available for purchasing machines and traps. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to donate some money so that you can see how to do that. So I'm going to click this yellow button that says donate. And you can see that these are the raid boss coins. This is what you get when you purchase, or I'm sorry, whenever you hit the raid boss. Each hit you're going to gain some. And then also after the daily reset, you're going to get some as well. So we're just going to kind of scroll through. I'm going to just go ahead and get, we'll do right around 15. Oh, so close. Sounds good. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm basically converting my raid boss coins into guild coins. And with those guild coins, you can buy the offense and the defense like special items that are called traps and machines, and we're going to go through each one of those as well. So I'm going to click exchange. It's going to ask if I'm sure that I want to exchange these raid boss coins, and I'm going to say yes. So we will exchange those. So that is how you do that part of it. And then the next thing that we're going to talk about are machines and traps. So machines are what you use offensively whenever you're fighting a battle. And then traps are what you would use defensively, that your leader or someone on the leadership team that's able to do this, that they can set them up on defense teams on your warfield. So let's talk about machines first. When you're looking at machines, there are some different pieces of information that are pretty important to know about them. Each one, you can own up to 12 of any kind of what we're looking at right here, but you can only have 24 total machines purchased. So whatever the leader goes through and they purchase, it's going to end up equaling that for every guild member. So let's say, for instance, I purchased 12 ballistas and 12 catapults. That would hit my limit of 24 to purchase. And then every single person that's participating in the war is going to get 12 ballistas and 12 catapults. So it's really important that you kind of go through and you think about which ones your guild likes the most. And you can see here, each one costs 2,650. So the machines are pretty costly to be able to put out on the field. So it's important, at least I tell everybody in Obsidian Grove, that it's important to hit the raid boss as often as possible. We strive to hit 3 times personally, and that's just because that's going to give us more guild coins that then we can convert into our war coins here. So let's go through each type of these machines, and we're going to talk about what they do. So the first one that we'll go over is the Ballista. Now what this does is it deals damage to a single enemy for 10% of their max health and 15% of their missing health. So sometimes these are really good to use kind of like towards the end of the battle because of the missing health point. That's going to be really beneficial there. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background. She's trying to play with my cat. It's not going very well for her. All right, the next one that we're going to talk about is the Catapult. So these deal damage to all enemies for 10% of their max health point, and there's a 50% chance to stun on all enemies for 2 turns. The next one is a first aid tent. This restores 65% max health point to an ally, so you choose which ally you want to restore that to. And then it restores 25% max health point to all other allies. And then there's the Battering Ram. This one deals damage to a single enemy for 20% of their current health point, 10% of their max health point, and 200% of their defense. I do love a good Battering Ram. I think that they are just awesome. So that's what the machines are. That's how you go through those. You can take in 4 machines on each offensive battle that you have. So when you're going to fight someone, you can choose 4 total of whatever your guild leader purchased prior to war. So let's say that they bought just a whole bunch of Battering Rams and then some first aid tents. If you have them available, you could take in 3 Battering Rams and 1 first aid tent. So you can take in a total of 4, and they can be duplicates, but you can't take any more than that. And then one thing that's really important with this, be sure to use whatever your guild leader purchases. So they go away after war. So whatever you don't use, they disappear. They don't roll over to the next war. So it's really important to use those as you do. All right, so then let's talk about traps. These are used defensively. So whatever is placed out on the strategic points, which we'll go into probably in part 3. With this, your leader or vices can go through and they can put traps on certain defenses. So you can't, it's not visible when you're looking at the warfield, but whenever your opponent goes in to attack you, whatever the traps are that are set there, which are going to be 1 per defense, they're going to get hit by that. So you can have a total of 45 traps to use per war, and they are substantially cheaper than the machines. They're just defensive instead of offensive. So let's look at the Caltrop. This makes the mana gain of all enemies decrease by 8. So, I mean, that can be pretty gross. I mean, it's just going to drop their mana gain by 8 points. And then the Barricade. So this makes the defense of all allies increased by 35%, and the resistance of all allies is increased by 75%. So this one is kind of interesting because it's a trap, but it's affecting the defense team. So I think that's pretty cool, but you know, it's only going to be useful for like certain type of teams that are coming against you. All right, the Pitfall. The crit rate of all enemies are decreased by 35%, and accuracy is decreased by 75%. That can be pretty brutal, especially if the person who is coming to attack you has a lot of like negative statuses that they're going to throw. That's going to really hurt with that accuracy decrease. And then the Swamp, which is my personal favorite. The speed of all enemies is decreased by 25%. That is gnarly. So, you know, even if you have this really strong team, if you're going against them and you go and you hit a Swamp, your speed is just demolished. It can be rough. So, again, with this, the machines and the traps, those are going to go away. Whatever you do not use are gone. So it's important to use whatever is purchased by your guild leader so that way you don't lose it. So next up, we are going to talk about defense teams, and we're going to talk about setting those up. All right, so now we are going to talk a little bit about defense, because defense and offense teams are going to be a little bit different in the way that you set them up. So with defense, you're going to go to your war screen, like the beta war, where you go to the big castle. And then if you look down at the bottom, you're going to see a little spot that says castle. And that is where you're going to input your defense teams. Now, it calls them squads, but they're teams. It's the same thing. So as you can see in this video, it's really not an example of how I would set up my real teams. This is just showing you with my top heroes how you can go in and you set up your teams there. So you're going to have 6 teams or squads as they're called, and it's going to be 4 heroes each. So this is a little bit different than it would be as far as arena or campaign or rifts or any of those things, because it's a 4-man team. So it does take a little bit to kind of find that right synergy between your heroes, using four heroes instead of 5. So you set them up in the castle, and you're going to set up your 6 teams. Now, when you do that, you're going to have 4 heroes and 1 dragon. So you get to choose which dragon is going to go with each team once you have inputted that. And then you can also edit the name, which I thought was really cool, and that example was also in the video as well. You can make up whatever name you want. I think it's really fun. I like coming up with names. I change them just to be weird, but I do think instead of having like team 1, team 2, team 3, you can choose something crazy. Like you can call them like Gobbledygook 1 or whatever. I don't know why that was what I thought of, but anyway. Make sure that you do select a leader for your team, just like you would if you're in arena or a campaign. So that's an important thing. And then choose whichever dragon you want to go with it as well. The people who can set those defense teams. Sorry, my kids are loud in the background. I'm sure you can hear them. I've tried to record this like 20 times, and they're just loud and they're being kids. So just ignore that part. Anyway, you're going to set those on the actual battlefield. Technically, anybody can put them there. But whatever guild you're in, the leader might want something different. They might want 2 or 3 teams set out on the field by each member, or like an Obsidian Grove. What I like to do is I like to personally put the defense teams out there. I like to take them off the field after every war, let everybody edit them or adjust them as they need to, and then I personally like to put them back on there. That's just how I like to do it. It's not like the end-all be-all of anything. That's just my personal style. So that is something. Whenever those defense teams are set up on the battlefield, you're the leader or a vice, or your war captain or whoever you have can then take the traps that were purchased by the leader and put them on those defenses out on the field. So those are important things to remember. I think that's all I really have as far as setting up defense goes. So we'll talk about offense. All right, so now we're going to talk about offense teams and how those are set up. Again, it's going to be teams of up to 4 heroes. Now, it's set up as you have 24 attacking heroes available. Whenever you go to make an offensive move, you can use anywhere between 2 to 4 heroes per attack. So, but you can only use a maximum of 24. So you could do 6 teams of 4, you could do 8 teams of 3, you could do, it's all about how you want to set that up. You could do 2-person teams and have 12 of them. It's just all about how you attack and what you can do. But once you use a hero, you can't use it again offensively. And I did forget, with defense, you can reuse defense teams, and we're going to go more into that in a different video. But offense-wise, once a hero has been used, they cannot be used again. Now, you can use dupes of that hero, but you can't have 2 of the same hero on one team. So, like, if you have 2 Percivals, you could use a Percival on one team, and then you have to use your dupe Percival on a separate team. You wouldn't be able to put them on the same one. So, it is a little bit different as far as when you're hitting, because you can have anywhere between that 2 to 4 mark as far as your offense goes. But again, once you hit that 24, you're done with your attacks. So you kind of have to math it out, and I've seen it happen a couple times where people end up with 1 attacking hero available left, and that they can't do anything with it because you have to have a minimum of 2 heroes to be able to do an attack. So you have to kind of just work it through in your head to make sure that you have enough to use over time. One thing that I recommend as far as offense goes is, and this is actually recommended to me by someone, was to test 4-man offense teams on smaller arena teams. So like if you know it's an easy win if you had 5 heroes, try to find a team you could attack with 4 heroes and just kind of play around with different offense teams and find the synergy that you're really liking offensively, and keep those teams in mind whenever you're using them against the opponents in war. That was really good advice that was given to me, and I think it was definitely something that I needed to pass along to you all. When you're on offense, you can then use the war machines that the leader has purchased. War machines are similar to like a potion kind of, but a lot of times potions in games are going to affect your team, but there's only one that does that as far as the war machines go, which we already talked about a little bit of that. And then the rest of them are going to attack the other team. So make sure that you take in those war machines that your leader purchased, because whatever you don't use is going to end up going away at the end. So I think that pretty much covers offensive and defensive teams. So what we're going to do is we're going to end this video because I think this is enough information to go over. So I hope you guys have a really great day. I hope that you just have sunshine and that everything's awesome. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time.